Hello guys, welcome back to another episode of Everyday EDC. My name is Tyler and today we are going to be reviewing the hell did it go? Ow! I got ants in the pants. Whew, sorry about that. Today we are reviewing the Kizer Fire Ant. So the Kizer Fire Ant is clearly a similar design to the Kizer Rogue, and I'll show you why real quick. I mean, it's just kind of like a smaller, I guess it's not the same looking at them, but they're both Warncliffes, they're both thumb studs, they're both Kizer, they're both Dark Pinkerton. Yeah, so anyways. So the Kizer Fire Ant. Let's go over this little guy right here. So this is an S35 VN blade, Warncliffe on bearings. You got the Fire Ant right there. You got Dirk Pinkerton's design right there. Design logo. You got, what the hell does that say? S35 VN, K12535A2, and Kizer's logo. Whew, billboarding. This is a titanium frame lock with obviously an over travel stop there. A very nice, actually milled titanium pocket clip that is very, very functionally good. I just really like this pocket clip on here. I like the Rogue in many more ways than I like the Fire Ant, but I like the pocket clip on the Fire Ant a million times better. I'm going to stop bringing that out and comparing the two, but I had to do it. So we have some jimping coming down here by the barrel spacers. We also have a lot of jimping running up a long length of the blade. The cool part about that is it gives you a lot of positions that you can hold this blade at. If you haven't noticed, this is like a gold, they call this like a gold trim. They put like a slight gold anodization on the edges and a little bit more on it. And I think the color scheme looks really, really, really good actually. So kudos to that. I think the aesthetics of this little guy are pretty cool. We have some jimping right there I already talked about, but we have jimping on the other side. And I think they talked about a reverse grip for that jimping. So you can kind of hold it however you want. I don't know who holds their knives in a reverse grip, but take that for what you will. Action. This thing is running on ball bearings, and it is okay. It's stiff. It's not as good as, say, the Rogue, in my opinion. It's not as fun. Once I had the Rogue and this in hand, I never chose to carry this if I were making my decision based on what I want. I've never chose to carry the Fire Ant over the Rogue, but it is a much smaller, more sleek design, so that's pretty nice. These scales here, what I want to talk about real quick, nice chamfering all around the edges. And that pocket clip being not so deep carry. You still got that hanging out, but it's not too bad. But it allows for a quick in and out of the pocket. Get your ants out of the pants because this is really nice, smooth titanium right there. All right, let's see. Did we really cover everything? I kind of ripped through that. Let me double check my notes. I'll get back to you guys. A couple more things that I forgot after checking my notes. Gold thumb studs there. We have a sharpening choil that, I mean, okay. Yeah, all right, whatever. And then we have a stop pin right there, over travel stop right there. All right, I think I hit everything. Let's get you guys some specs. Clearly, I'm not spending as much time on this as the Rogue. As you can tell, I actually prefer to carry the Rogue, but this thing has a lot of value. It's pretty cool. So this is coming in at 2.67 ounces. That's a full ounce less than the Rogue, which is its bigger brethren. And, that's something to be said. If you're looking for a more narrow, skinny, easier to carry knife, this is where it definitely beats the Rogue out. Overall length coming in at, what are you doing? Coming in at just about 6.5 inches. Blade length's coming in at 2 3/4, with 2 3/4 of blade length and actual cutting length. Let's get you guys some blade stock thickness here. Coming in at about 115 thousandths. Let me just double check that. Yeah, about 115 thousandths. So the behind the edge, it's coming in at just about 20 thousandths. So realistically, the Rogue's was 155 thousandths behind the edge. Or I'm sorry, 155 thousandths blade stock, and the behind the edge was coming in at about 25 thousandths. This is a blade stock of about 115 thousandths, much more narrow, but it only comes down to about 20 thousandths behind the edge. You're not getting that much more sliciness out of it in, I guess, contrast to the robust feeling and the robustness of the blade itself. but you also don't have as much blade to come down to that narrow edge. So I'm not too mad about that. This is a flat grind, which I didn't mention. Let's see here. Overall thickness coming in at 0.4 of an inch, which is pretty good. I mean, most knives are coming in between 0.4 and 0.5, so I'm not too mad about that. Highest point in your pocket's coming in at a 1.1, so it's not that tall either. So this thing's going to be a carry dream if you're, a bug out, lightweight para 3 fan. It's a carry dream. It's small. It does not take up as much real estate as anything but maybe, say, the mini bug out. And it's easy in and out of the pocket, and it's relatively lightweight. Let's get you guys some size comparisons. Obviously, this is a much smaller knife, and it is coming in smaller than the para 3 and smaller than the Shaman, drastically. And you can also tell, once again, a little bit of carry profile for you guys. This thing, that's how it's going to carry versus the para 3. It's pretty obnoxiously apparent how easy this is to carry by comparison of, say, Spyderco knives. Let's check out your Rat Model 1 and your Rat Model 2. Probably a better comparison is the Rat Model 2. But still coming in at much shorter than the Rat Model 2. For those of you that don't know why I show so many size comparisons, it's so that if any of you have felt the Feldspar, the Rats, the Spyderco Shaman, the Spyderco Para 3, or some of my other Civivis, it's that you guys can relate to what I'm showing you. So as you can see here, it is much shorter than both Feldspars. I'm going to be saying that until I get done with these comparisons, just because that's just the reality of this guy. Here's your Civivi Brigand, and here is your Civivi Dauris. As you can see, much smaller than both again. This thing just looks tiny by comparison of all these different ones. And last, I'm going to throw one more comparison knife out there. I've already put it on the table, but I need to keep showing it because if you're interested in the Kizer Fire Ant, you're probably going to see the Kizer Rogue at some point in time and say, hey, that's very similar looking. I guess just because of the blade shapes. That's what happened to me. But you're going to be like, okay, which one should I get? So as you can see, the Rogue is coming in much larger than the Fire Ant. It's coming in an ounce large or an ounce more, and you're getting probably about only a 1/4 of an inch more blade length. In and out of your pocket is going to be much about the same, but real estate taken up in your pocket, this thing's got it all day. So if you're talking about all that, then yeah, I guess the Fire Ant takes it down. I'm going to tell you guys right now, the Rogue feels more smooth in hand, and ergonomically, the Rogue has got it as well. Although the Fire Ant's no slouch ergonomically, but this Rogue is a dream. I really do truly like the Rogue. And check this out. The Rogue is coming in at $3 cheaper than the Fire Ant. The Fire Ant's coming in at $1.19. Wow. Everybody go buy it for $1.19. $119. But for the value of titanium frame lock, bearings, S35 VN blade, and Kizer's name with Dirk Pinkerton, who really doesn't do any wrong in my opinion. I've loved every single model of his. Maybe not aesthetically, but functionally fantastic. $119 S35 VN full frame lock on titanium. One thing I didn't mention is there's so much work that actually, this might be why this costs more. There's a lot more jimping on this titanium. There's nice chamfering. They did this really weird scalloping right here. Not sure why they did that as opposed to not doing it there. I mean, if you're not going to do it, then don't do it. Just because of how narrow this is, it's coming up to the pivot. Anyways, but we have some cutouts right here that I'm not really sure if that's just your ability to actually access. It's opening up the frame lock just a little bit more. But they actually put the relief cut on the inside of the scales, and I truly, truly appreciate that. It really gives this knife a very, very clean overall aesthetic. That, to me, is the selling point. The size and the clean overall aesthetic are just, they're really good. Plus, I'm comparing it to the Rogue. Had I not felt the Rogue, I wouldn't be as critical of this because the blade shape's awesome. The action's really good. You could tell there's so much design work that went into this, despite it looking pretty simple. And aesthetically, this is great looking. So, yeah, for $120, why? Why not? Like, it's really good. So I think I did a recap on accident of everything that we were going through there. Let me tell you about my likes on this guy. Likes. I really love the gold trim that this has. I'm typically not a gold guy, but I'm drawn to gold and silver mix, right? The concept cryo gold and silver, I almost got that over the blacked out version. I'm like, that looks really cool. You know, the gold hardware with everything else kind of that shiny silverish look. The aesthetics of this one look really good in my opinion. The thumb stud access is, you know, for a small knife, they like pronounce the thumb studs just enough that it's good. I mean, I have no issues accessing it. And for smaller knives, I actually usually dislike the way the thumb studs are placed because it's really difficult to get in there and flick that thing. And this isn't one of those. I think it works very, very well. The compact feel. So this thing is a very compact knife in your pocket, in your hand. In your hand, the compact feel doesn't necessarily mean as much to me. I kind of treat that as more of a dislike. But in your pocket, it is very compact and won't take up. I mean, this could almost go in your fifth pocket, right? Last but not least, there's something about small knives, even though this is coming in at what did I say, like 2.8 ounces or whatever. It feels substantial because of all the titanium and just the solid lockup. It is a very substantial feeling small knife. So you definitely feel like you have something of quality in your hands as you're using this. So there's a lot to be said there. Ergonomically, I mean, like I said, it's just okay. It's not necessarily a dislike, although that does kind of lead into the dislikes. It's ergonomically, there's nothing special about it. But if I'm also talking about nothing special when I'm talking to my dislikes, that's kind of unfair because I don't call it a dislike. It's just something that I prefer larger. I mean, it's just really narrow. This thing being so narrow, it kind of like you wrap your whole hand around it. I can almost feel my other side of my fingers wrapping underneath. And this also has a pretty tight lock bar. And I think part of that is because I got so used to the Rogue that, and maybe it has to do with the way they did the relief cut in the inside versus outside. I might need to do some research on that. But the lock bar is really tight. The overall action's really good. It's really snappy, nowhere near drop shot, but it's a pretty light blade. And, you know, I guess I'm kind of laughing at my dislikes right now because I tried to find something to dislike, and I really don't have anything. I don't mind that lock bar being like that. This is a T8 screw, T6 screws in the back, T6 screws on the pocket clip and the frame. And I'm thinking I'm being a liar right now. I've been too lazy to get that freaking tool out, so let's get it out real quick. I'll measure that for you guys so I'm not lying. T6. Is this T8? Looks like T6. Where's my other T8? T10. What the hell happened to that other tool? So here's what I can tell you. I can't find my T8. I'm not going to dissect these tools real quick. But this is not a T10. And this is not a T6. The body screws are T6 and the pocket clip screws are T6. So I'm not going to tell you what the pivot screw is, T8, because I didn't verify that. But it is not a T10, it is not a T6, it is somewhere in the middle. These are T6 though. That is all I got for you guys. This is the Kizer Fire Ant. My name is Tyler. Thank you guys so much for watching, genuinely. Once again, I apologize for my absence lately, and we're going to be hitting it hard again. Thank you guys so much for watching. I genuinely appreciate it. Subscribe, like. I have a Patreon. If you're interested, check that out. In the Patreon, we're giving bi-monthly giveaways based on the number of patrons, and I also give great discounts on the knives that I review. So thank you guys again so much for being a part of this channel and the best part of this community. Have a great day, guys.